YouTube, and this guy came out of the blue, but he did a fantastic job of covering creating a business with AI and just an AI first approach, like a one-person business. He did have an agency before that, and he talked about how painful it was for him, all the different experiences, so many different clients putting out fires and so on. I'm very familiar with this. I did the same thing, and yeah, say like spot on experience. So this guy's brilliant. It's funny because he kind of looks like me, right, with the baldness and the glasses. But anyway, let's give it a listen because he's really good.
So then let's talk about what are the three different types of AI businesses that you could build. Now, I'm sure there are more than three, but I want to cover the three most obvious ones. And the first one is a service. And I don't mean done for you work. I mean, you create some sort of service that you use AI and AI automation, or you even build out a SaaS product to deliver that result to the client without having to do the work over and over again, without having to have a team. You can start a one person business where you have some sort of automation or technology where you can deliver consistent results to a client and then charge them a monthly fee.
So not exactly rocket science, right? Like it's obvious. The idea is to build it once and sell many. But again, let's keep on listening.
So there's several members inside of my no code architects community who are doing just this. One of them creates content. So they have automations that run and help them create content automatically using automation and AI. And there's a few different variations where they provide topics or they do a few different recordings. And then their service automatically takes in those recordings, processes them, does any sort of editing that needs to be done. It can repurpose all of this content all automatically into all sorts of different formats. And then all they have to do is publish this content to social media and everyone is happy. Everyone wants content. Nobody wants to spend the time on it. And so if you can develop a service that is automated so that you don't have to do all of the work, then you can create a very attractive offer to busy professionals where all they have to do is pay you and you make all the content, you do all the work, and you deliver it to social media, except you're not actually doing the work. You're having AI automation do it, or you could have a SaaS product. And then that's how you build a scalable service.
Okay, simple, right? Basic stuff. I'll show you an example of it. There's a product I'm building, kind of illustrates that. But let's keep going.
Now, the next thing that you can do is that you can actually build out either a automation template where you build out some automation that somebody wants. The same automation that you are using to power your service is something that you could sell as an automation template. And this is a little bit different. Whereas instead of you setting up the service and running it for someone else, you find somebody that's looking for that automation that wants the same result, but they don't want to pay an ongoing monthly fee. They would rather just buy the automation. They'd like to learn how to use it. They'd like some coaching on how to set it up. And then from there, they just pay a fee and then they can use it themselves month after month. And then all you have to do is charge them usually a much higher fee than you would normally charge for the service because they're getting your intellectual property. Once they have it, they don't need you anymore. So you're charging a premium for the actual automation and the expertise that you have to help them learn how to use it.
That's cool. So it makes sense, right? You can build something like a N8N workflow to do something and then support that entire chain of activity, right? The workflow with training materials, documentation, to make it easy for people to implement and run it themselves. So it's a smaller project, right?
Content engine database, which was the automated system that I sell, I was able to sell this for $5,000 per install. I didn't
That's magic. I don't know how he got 5K for this, but obviously it must have served a purpose. And if he was able to sell it, kudos to him.
even actually do the install. Every time somebody purchased it, they paid $5,000. And the cool thing about this was that once I really got this dialed in, I didn't even actually have to do any sales calls. People would just see my content. They would find the landing page. They could watch a video that explained how everything worked and then had a bunch of different descriptions on how it worked and when the calls were. And over time, I knew all the questions so they could just get to the bottom and there was a purchase. They could buy it. And then I would just see the purchases come in. And the system
this guy's good. He makes it sound so simple, right? But just you have to have a good idea and set all of this up. So
That I was selling looked a lot like this. It was the content engine database. This is a new version that I'm not actually selling. I'm using this privately, but it looked a lot like this. All it really was a simple but powerful content organization system. So one thing to keep in mind is that even though we
it sounds a little bit like a Notion template.
have all of this fancy technology in AI and AI automation, what people don't always realize is that the problems that people have day to day are often a lot more simple than we'd like them to be. As entrepreneurs, as builders, we like to build things that are interesting and complex to us.
Oh my God, this guy's so spot on, right? We have a tendency to naturally overcomplicate things. And sometimes it's this like the simplest, smallest, dumbest thing. If you can just automate it, get it to the point where, it's got to be a pain, right, for everybody to buy. But if you can, if you can just reduce the level of pain, just improve it marginally, uh, that could be a winning product.
But what I found is that the most simple solution is usually the best one. And the most powerful feature of the content engine database was it just kept things very organized. It automatically created documents that you might need for your content. If you needed to write a script, it would automatically create the document. It would automatically create all the folders that you needed. It would
I swear this product could be built like with Replit. Maybe we'll do a video on that, just trying to replicate his work.
automatically link to the video so that you could give feedback to your video editor. Yes, it did do a lot with AI in terms of content repurposing and taking one piece of content
I was right, he was using N8N.
and turning it into a lot of other pieces of content. In the end, when you're a busy professional and you've got a team and you're just trying to get things done, it was all of the organization that provided the most initial value. Then once you had that, the rest of the stuff was valuable as well. But it was just that simple organization that provided all the value. So when you're planning out your automation templates or your automation products that you're going to sell that someone can actually install, just make sure to keep it simple. And I'll talk a bit more about that in just a moment, how I was able to build out this product going from a $10 a month product to a $999 to a $2,000 and then finally to a $5K product. Now, the third AI business that you could start is just information. You can sell training. And there's so many different ways that you could do this. A lot of times when we think about this, we think about starting a community. This is what I have. You have a community, and then you create courses, and then you sell that information to people. But there's a whole other host of businesses out there. In fact, people or entrepreneurs are often the hardest people to sell to. They're the least experienced, they're just getting started, and they have
Okay, so the third one we've seen, right? There's only a million of them. Okay, so you gotta watch this entire video. It's 30 minutes, right? It's good, definitely worth it. I'll leave a link to this in the post. But just kind of to highlight this, if you look at right here, I basically took the transcript and summarized it to make it easy. So we're talking about a scalable AI-powered service, right? That's like a SaaS application where we host everything, the entire solution. Second being the automation template, so some sort of implementation of a workflow that people purchase and run and operate by themselves. You just have to provide a little bit of training material, maybe a community support environment so you can work on the bugs or enhance the template over time. I still don't know how he got the 5K, but whatever. And then the information product training, well, Udemy courses or school or whatever, right? Let me jump to the mistakes to avoid because those are kind of critical. So, selling overly complex solutions, right? As engineers, as product builders, we have a tendency to overbuild just because of all the features and the things that we want to put in there to satisfy the user community. But in reality, just keeping it simple is sometimes the best approach, especially for the launch. And all those brilliant ideas that you have in the beginning can be quickly validated. Um, the worst part is probably that a lot of the times they're just not needed. Nobody cared about it. It was just your thing. Ignoring buyer feedback or engagement signals, yeah, for sure. You got to listen to the people. It's obvious, right? But if they're telling you that the feature A needs to be this way, then you probably want to focus on that versus again, or engineering or building a feature B. Building quietly without marketing is so spot on. Like, doesn't matter how good of a product you have, whatever brilliant idea you have, if nobody's aware, what are you gonna do? How is anybody ever gonna buy this? So you might as well, build in public and market as much as you possibly can. And underpricing high value solutions, that one I struggle with the most, I would say. That one deserves its own deep dive. I have no idea how some of those things operate, how they're done. So I guess we can discover it together. Anyway, good video. This guy did a really good job. So go ahead, give him a like, subscribe to his content, and see if you like this. Let me know.